Okay, we're finishing up lesson 18 in your workbook today. You ready to do the first part, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do part 4 and 5. I'm going to read part 4. I'll go over the question, but not the answers. You're going to read part 5, and I'll go over the questions to make sure you know what I'm looking for to get full credit, because we will have the unit test after this one. All right, page 174, a tutor in shining armor. I'm going to read the close reading really fast. What information do Chloe and Ava have that James doesn't, and circle it in text? And then how does James feel about this Ava and her situation? Underline any evidence in a text that explains her point of view and the motives for his actions. Okay. Chloe and Ava commenced their acting exercise the moment they sat down at the lunchroom table, both aware that from this moment on they had to commit fully to the part and stay true to the character. Ava threw out the first line. It's a total disaster. James was immersed in his computer. He was not too distracted and noticed the two girls from algebra occupying the next table. He would know Ava anywhere, not that she would have any clue who he was. Instinctively, he muted the music on his laptop. What happened? Chloe cried out in a loud stage whisper. Shh, Ava hissed. I'll be mortified if anyone finds out. James almost choked on his iced tea. Ava was phenomenal. Captain of the volleyball team, straight A student, first person to volunteer in a crisis. What could she possibly have done that would cause her to be so embarrassed and distressed? The corners of Chloe's lips began to twitch into a smile, but she knew the actress always maintained a forward momentum. So without missing a beat, she said, I'm dying here. Tell me. I'm failing algebra, Ava confessed with fake tears in her eyes. I never failed anything before, and I don't know what to do. It's such a mess. If I fail, I'll be kicked off the volleyball team. News that Ava was in trouble gave James a burst of courage. This was a chance to come to her rescue, like a tutor in shining armor. Excuse me, Ava? I couldn't help but hearing that you're saying, since algebra happens to be my best subject, I would like to offer my services if you... Chloe laughed. Seriously? Ava could tutor you in algebra. Chloe, Ava imagined. That's sweet, James. We're just doing a little acting, but thanks for the offer. Want to listen in? Dazed by this turn of events, James grinned and sat down. Ava may not have needed a white knight, but she didn't know his name. All right, cool. So a little twist in here. So what information do they have that James doesn't? That they were acting. So I'm going to circle that. They need to stay in character. That's the part that I'm going to circle. And then evidence shows, oh, it stops. It's, I could be, yeah, it literally thinks this. You can come to our rescue like a tutor in shining armor, which is the title of the article also. Cool. So I did that. We're going to go ahead. You're going to answer these questions. So just basically look at the hints. So number 1, which answer choice describes what James believes is going on, not what's actually happening. Should be pretty easy. Number 2, what do you know about Ava that James doesn't? So we know that she does really well. And then number 3, as you write, think about the information James has, the information the girls have, and the information the reader has. So we kind of know most everything in here, but we don't know why they're acting. That's the one part we don't know. All right. Use that for your answer. So from there, 176, 177, you're reading Esperanza Rising. Read that. Answer the questions. So first one, multiple choice. Actually, 1, 2, and 3, they're not too hard. Look at all the options. I think there's 1. Number 2 might be a little tricky, but make sure you read all the choices, pick the best one. Number 4, explain the author's cultural background, reflected in Mama's point of view about the peasants in the story. So these 2 details in text support your answer. So from her point of view, so the mama about peasants. So you want to talk about how her background affects her point of view, and then give me 2 details. So it's probably relatively short, 2, maybe 3 sentences, relatively easy. Okay. If you have any questions, like I said, let me know. Remember, keep up with all this. Make sure everything's done, as the following week we'll be turning this in. I'll be grading them. All right. With that, have a good day. I will see you when you're back in class.